What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more Surviving with Immersive Engineering. Now today, guys, we're going to continue working on the improved blast furnace, and it actually sounds a little bit funny, but we're going to be working on improving the improved blast furnace, so it's going to be even more improved now. So last episode we had hooked it up over here, and yes, I did disassemble it, do not worry, it's just because we need to move it a little bit. But I had hooked it up over here, and we had the input automated at the top there, and we had the two outputs automated at the bottom, and everything was working great. But then one of you guys told me that I did not flip one more page in the book and get to the preheater page. And the preheaters are probably one of the best things with the new improved blast furnace, because they essentially cost 32 RF per tick. You can have two of them, and what they do is just speed up the steel making process, because essentially they are supposed to blow hot air in the sides of it and just make it heat up faster, which is awesome. So we're going to be hooking those up today, and before we actually jump into anything, we can jump into the book here, and this is the page that I did not flip to. But before we go over that, I'm actually going to back out and I'm going to show you guys how to get to that page in case you want to read it yourself. So we go to heavy machinery, and one thing I want to point out real quick is that they have added a bunch of different things to the heavy machinery page. It used to only have 4, which would be the crusher, biodiesel, arc furnace, and excavator. Now it includes the blast furnace, the metal press, the assembler, and the bottling machine, which are all really great because those are all multi-block structures, so I could see them being considered heavy machinery. So first one, the improved blast furnace. First page through the third page we already went over. First page is essentially how to make the refined blast bricks or the reinforced blast bricks. Second page is just assembling it. And then third page is just about automating it. But the very last page, which for some reason I didn't flip to yesterday, I don't know why, but I didn't flip to it. This is the page on the preheaters. Now the first thing you should notice is that these are actually made in a crafting grid. They're not assembled like a multi-block structure, which is awesome because that means disassembling them, moving them around, all that stuff is really great. It's similar to the core sample drill where it takes up more than one block of space when you place it down, but it actually is a single block in your inventory. So we're going to read through this and then we can start assembling them. So the blast furnace preheaters are used to heat up air, then blow it into the furnace to speed up the refinement process of iron. Each furnace can have 2, and they're connected to the ports on each side. So if you saw last episode, you know I was like, I wonder what these things on the side are for. Well, they're for the preheaters, and they require 32 RF per tick to operate. Now, one thing that is great is that if you attach these and you wire them all up, they will not start working until you actually are in need of them. So they won't just consistently run blowing hot air in there and burning 32 RF per tick. They're similar to the external heater, which is probably because they actually use the external heater to be crafted, where unless there's something cooking in the blast furnace, they will not be running, which is awesome because it means that you don't need to automate them in any way, shape, or form. They will just go on their own. So first things first, we are going to be reassembling the blast furnace right over here in this 3x3 because we're going to need one block of space on each side so that it can actually fit in the preheaters. So that does mean that we're going to have to extend these one over, and we're actually going to have to extend this one over too, but it should not be that difficult. Now, one thing I want to point out is that if you saw last episode, you probably know that I did run into a little bit of a bug, and I reported it to Blue Sunrise, and you guys helped out a little bit too with tweeting at him, and he acknowledged it, said they had already found the bug and they had worked on it. He just hadn't pushed out a hotfix, so you do not need to worry. They know about the bug and it should be fixed relatively soon, so you don't need to worry about corrupting your world, but just be careful every time you break this because it is going to happen until they do push out a fix for it. So that's why I broke it off camera and not on camera, because I did have to deal with that extra block that came out of it. But we can assemble this now. Everything assembles same as before, and you can see that these nice little silver or gray plated holes on the side are where we are actually going to be putting the preheaters. So there's one on each side for the max of 2 that you can have. And before we do this, I'm actually going to need to get up here and extend this one. Hopefully nothing is going to drop down on me. So that should be good. I just need to grab out our conveyor belts and our dropping conveyor belt and pillar up here a little bit. Very ominous noise in the background. Okay, so it looks like that should be going the correct direction. Everything should be going good there. And we should be able to test this out just by throwing some of the coal coke in here and verify that it actually gets put into here. Okay, awesome. So everything's working perfectly in this end. And we are going to put the conveyor belts here. We're just extending them one, so the slag will get output here and the steel will get output there. So everything is hooked up now. We have room for the preheaters. So now we actually need to craft the preheaters, and they're not very bad to craft. I did bring a crafting bench down here just because I do a lot of work down here, and I'm always running upstairs to get the crafting bench stuff. So yeah, I brought one down here just to kind of speed up the whole process. So if we go over and search up preheater, because it is a single block, you don't actually need to be looking in the book. You can see it takes 2 sheet metal blocks, an external heater, and a fluid pipe. So before, you could make sheet metal by taking iron and just putting it in a pattern like this, and grabbing your engineer's hammer and putting it in the middle. Well, that is not the case now. You actually need to make sheets. So we're going to throw down 4 ingots in here, and we're going to let this system run, and then we can use those to make it. Now, I do know that I could just go and craft them in my inventory using the engineer's hammer, but I thought we'd do it like this. Oh my gosh, you know what? I didn't put the pattern back down. Oh, that's not great. I must have moved the pattern somewhere when I slightly moved this to the side. So I guess we will use our inventory to do this. So we'll just put 1, 2, 3, 4 in our inventory, use the engineer's hammer. It's going to lose a little bit of durability, but it's not even noticeable. Then we can come over here and do it like this, and we will get 4 sheet metal blocks. So it's just kind of an added step to it. If you were going to craft it in the crafting grid, you just have to use the engineer's hammer on each piece individually and then reform it. So it's not super annoying, but it is another step. So now what we need to do is we need to make 2 of these, of course. So we got the external heaters, we have the 2 fluid pipes, and there we go, blast furnace preheaters. So luckily for us, they stack, and they don't look very big when we're holding them. I'll show you guys. Look at that, we look pretty funny. It looks like an inhaler almost, but you'll see when we place them down that they're a little bit larger than that. So I'm going to try and get it at the right angle just so that it attaches. I don't know if it automatically attaches to this or not, but if we place it down, you can see that this thing is very large, larger than it looks right now. If we let's stand like this, and let's just show, look at that, so much smaller in my hand. Obviously they can't make it the full size, but I just think that's pretty funny. So it attaches right there. I think it looks pretty cool. You can see it's got a fan right here that's going to be putting in, and the input is right at the top. And we're going to do the same thing over here. It's a little bit awkward to place this down. I wonder if we can rotate this at all. I don't know if you can even use the engineer's hammer to rotate things, but I guess we can just break this and kind of shimmy our way back in here and just get a good angle so we can place this down. Okay, there we go. Throw that down there, and there we go. So now we can repair this wall, and we can hook these up, get them running, and see how fast it actually makes this run. So we should be able to wire this over. We might need to wire it over to 1 right here and then split it, but that should not be an issue. Get our wiring out and our connectors. Biggest thing is we got to get up here. Oh my gosh, conveyor belt. We got to attach them. So get up here. You can see it does have the energy thing at the top, or the energy input. Does it not? It doesn't want to let me attach this to it? Does it only take low voltage or something? Interesting. Does it need... No. I have no idea right now what's going on. Let's get up there and see if we can actually click this down. And oh, there we go. Okay, so it was a little bit glitchy with me standing right here, and it looks like we did pick up all the stuff that was up there. We picked up the excess coal coke. So we're gonna have to throw that back in here. Mainly just because it sits up there. If you guys didn't know, I pointed this out last episode, but essentially all the stuff is going to sit up there, like the iron and the coal, if it goes above the 64 that this can hold. And it's on a conveyor belt, so it won't despawn, so it's okay. But I haven't added the hopper yet. I probably should have added that right now, but yeah, assuming we're not jumping up there, nothing will despawn, and it'll automatically get input into this whenever it has room. So it's not really a big deal, but if you're doing this, you might pick it up. So we got both of those down now, and I can throw the coal coke back in there. And now I don't think that we can get a direct line from either of these over. We might be able to run this one over, but we certainly can't get this one. So I think we're just going to split it right here. We will run this one. What's the most effective way? Can we run this one to this right here? Yeah, we can. And then we can run this over to these. And we should be good there. So these should start running if we were to put iron in here. So I got 60 iron on me. I don't want to turn all of that into steel. We'll turn 15 into steel, let's say. So we'll throw 15 in here, and it should go straight into here, and then these things should start running. So you can see that obviously they had power, but they didn't start running until we put something in there. They do look pretty cool. You have the external heater kind of portion right down here that lights up. And if we look in here, we can see that it is going really, really fast. Okay, that is much faster than before. Now, one thing I want to point out with this system, if you guys have been following along and you kind of have a similar system to this that's fully automated, you're going to notice that the steel was already getting produced faster than one coke oven could produce it. So you're already going to have a need for more coal coke when you're running the blast furnace. But one thing to keep in mind is that right now, all this coal coke in here was made because this thing is going to run consistently. All you need is to put your coal in there. So I usually put like 2 stacks of coal in at a time, and then this thing will run and I'll make like 40 steel. So that 40 steel will get a little bit backed up just because you're going to need coal coke. But once you get all that 40 steel, it's going to keep running and you're going to get an excess buildup of coal coke. So assuming you kind of keep that excess buildup going, you should never really have an issue with this running too fast. Eventually, I might hook up a second coke oven to it just so that we can kind of make sure that we're producing it fast enough. But this is really nice because it is really, really fast. It is awesome. And one thing I want to go do now, right before we finish this, is verify that we are having enough power generation going here to actually sustain this. So let us get out our voltmeter. And it does look like we are okay. We might have a little bit of an issue if we're running like the external heater up here, the crusher up here, that down there, and all that stuff, but I think we'll be okay for now. So that was kind of like the techie portion for today, but I do want to mess around with one more thing, guys. So I want to mess around a little bit with the Railgun. Now, if you don't know what this is, it was just added, and it's pretty much another immersive engineering weaponry thing that is really awesome. So we had the chemical thrower before. I don't really use it at all as a weaponry. But it is pretty awesome, so I expect that this one will, like, it won't be super effective. We'll probably just want to have a sword with us, but it probably will look really cool. So if we go back, I think we should be able to find it in here somewhere. If we go to tools and simple machines, it is the very bottom one, right below the chemical thrower. It is the Railgun, and this pretty much says that it is a marvel of engineering, and it uses electric currents to kind of accelerate the thing that you have in there, and pretty much just fires it out at record high speeds. So to launch a projectile from your inventory, click and hold the use button until the charge level reaches 99, then release. Valid projectiles include, for instance, iron and steel rods, as well as graphite electrodes. So we are going to be constructing this today, and it's pretty simple to construct. We can search it up right over here, and it looks really awesome. It takes 2 high voltage capacitors, a wooden grip, 2 revolver barrels, and 2 electrum wirings. So I already have these ready to hook this up, so we can just shift click that in there. Now we have the Railgun, which is awesome. Look at this thing, guys. Let's take a look at us right now. Look at this thing. That is so sick. It does look a little bit small, but that's okay. Looks super awesome. And you can see if you look at the very bottom right hand corner of the screen that it says 00. So that's where the charge is going to be. And if I were to hold down right click, I believe it is, it would start charging up if it had power. But if we hover over it, it says 0 out of 8,000 RF stored. Now, this is pretty much similar to the chemical thrower that has like an internal inventory where the chemical thrower was going to hold any flammable or really any chemical that is. This one you need to charge, which is why I have the charging station. So the charging station is kind of another thing that's similar to the core sample drill and these preheaters in that you construct it and it's a single block, but it's considered to be kind of like, I don't even know what you'd call it, but it's similar to those. So if we look at the charging station, a charging station is a device that allows you to charge tools and other items. You can input it through the bottom or the back, and you can either place the item in there manually or it can be inserted automatically. The electron tubes at the front, oh wow, typo guys, give a feedback about the current charge of the item, but the block will also output a comparator signal for the same purpose. So we're going to be hooking this up, and I actually think we should probably hook it up on the main floor just because why not? So we can hook it up right up here, and I might just hook it up right over here by these chests, mainly because I'm trying to think of the best place to hook this up actually. Maybe I'll I don't know, there's no like super convenient spot to hook this up. You know what, let's do this. Let's like put it right here. Let's do it like that. See, the problem is we need to keep it one away from the wall unless we want to hook it up through the bottom of it. And I don't really feel like hooking it up through the bottom of it because that's like, I guess if we were to put it right up here, we could hook it up through the bottom. So let's put it right there. Very awkward spot. We'll fix it later. But we can hook it up through the bottom, and we can take the medium voltage wire coil and just wire this over to like right here. This thing is splitting into so many different pieces. But this thing should start being able to charge it now. And we can manually insert this. And you can see it's got a really cool particle effect that happens at the electron tubes at the front, and it'll keep charging it. And now we actually should be having issues with our power, I think. Wow, we're not having issues with our power. That is awesome. Okay, man, these water wheels and the thermoelectric generators are just they're doing work right now. So I'm pretty sure we can take it out now. We just right click it. I assume it's fully charged. Yeah, it is. So we should have a better way to automatically do this since it outputs a comparator signal. We can probably pretty easily remove it and insert it and stuff like that. So we will do that in a later episode, or I'll do it off camera. But now you get to mess around with this. And unfortunately, we can't charge it because we don't have anything to shoot in our inventory. But we are going to be making a graphite electrode to shoot. So I've got the 4 graphite ingots. We can throw them in there. Pull out the graphite electrode. Now, I know that we'll typically want to be shooting probably, if we're going to use this, iron rods, because that's most likely the cheapest. But I'm just doing this for fun right now. I don't actually think I'm going to use this as weaponry a lot. So we can, let's see what we can shoot. Let's go upstairs. Okay, let's go up here. There's nothing to actually shoot. I think we should be able to re-pick up the graphite electrode after we shoot it, if we keep it in a contained area. Now keep in mind, this is probably going to be pretty loud. I did some testing with it and it sounded a little loud, so hopefully it's not super annoying. But let's charge this thing up and let's go. So be sure to watch the number in the lower right hand corner. Oh, there we go. So we are at 99 right now. It is ready to fire. And there we go. That is awesome. So you can see it makes the graphite electrode kind of like stick out of the wall over there, like an arrow almost. And I think the sound effects are awesome. I have to say props to Blue Sunrise because the sound effects for this thing are sick. So I love this, and we get to pick it up. The integrity doesn't go down. It's similar to an arrow, but if you're firing this at an actual enemy, you're going to lose it. Like I tested it out, and it doesn't drop when you kill them as far as I'm aware. So it might just keep going. It might get, destroyed when it hits an enemy. I don't know. But if we look at how much energy it used 800 for one fire, and we can see if it uses the same amount for another fire. Oh, okay, so if you let it go, it doesn't use any energy until you actually fire it, but it keeps the sound effect going that you're charging it. So let's charge it up again. Let's fire it, and let's see if it used another, it used 600 this time. What? No, it used 800. What am I saying? It was at 7,200 before. It's at 6,400 now. So I think this thing's pretty cool. I think we look pretty badass with it. A little bit more badass than the chemical thrower, but it'd be nice if you could hold it with like 2 hands, like you were holding like a shotgun or something. But you know what? It's fine with me. I think we look pretty cool though. So that is going to be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it informative. If you did find it useful in any way or just enjoyed my random commentary and just stories and whatnot, feel free to give it a like as it does help me out a lot. If you have any questions or any feedback, as always, post those in the comments and I will talk to you guys later.